involved in transition, and they really have a horse coming off the bench now in Stanley Roberts, so they're just a much more quicker and more flexible basketball team than they were early on.
Everyone knows about Chris Jackson, about Roberts and O'Neal inside, but Maurice Williamson has really added some punch to this attack. How are you going to defend him?
Well, he's been on a tear the last 5 games. The guy's shooting 55% from the field and 78% from the line and averaging 19 points. And what makes that so important is it gives a guy for Chris Jackson to play off of and some added offense, and that has really heightened their attack.
Auburn has been steadily improving, but big underdogs tonight. What must they do to pull the upset?
Well, I think that they just have to, take care of the basketball. They've got to rebound it, obviously. And I think a key early is they're going to have to shoot the ball well because you don't get a lot of second shots against LSU.
Any chance of an LSU letdown?
Oh, I think there always is. You have big wins against Loyola Marymount, a big win against Mississippi State, and kids have a tendency to listen to the wrong people. And if they're not paying attention to Coach Dale Brown, they're going to come in here thinking this is an easy game, and I can assure you that will not be the case.
LSU won the earlier meeting over Auburn 77-70. Tonight marks the second meeting this season between the two, and we'll be back to Baton Rouge for the introduction of tonight's starting lineups after this word from Pepsi. Auburn starts with Reggie Gallen, a 5'10 freshman from Miami, Florida. He's the assist leader on this team. Also in the backcourt, Ronnie Battle, the leading scorer, 6'1 freshman from Pittsview, Alabama, 17 a game. Zane Arnold, 6'6 junior from Birmingham, is the center, averages 8.7 boards. Derek Dennison, second leading scorer, the only senior, 6'3 from Atlanta, 15 a game. And Chris Brandt, 6'6 sophomore from Auburn, Alabama, he averages 13 a contest. Tommy Joe Eagles in his first year as the Auburn head coach. He's won 95 games in 5 years overall. LSU goes with Mo Williamson, 6-foot sophomore, New Haven, Connecticut, averaging 11 points a game now. Chris Jackson, 6'1 sophomore, Gulfport, Mississippi, leads the SEC, 28 a game. The center is Shaquille O'Neal, 7'1 freshman from San Antonio, 14 points, 12 boards. Wayne Sims, 6'7 junior from DeRidder, Louisiana. He averages 10 a game. And completing the lineup, Vernell Singleton in his second start, 6'7 sophomore from Natchez, Mississippi. Dale Brown, the head coach, 18 years here. He's won 334 games. So there's a look at our AC Delco starting lineups. AC Delco, automotive parts that don't just fit, they match. LSU 17-4 overall, 7-3 in the Southeastern Conference. Auburn a record of 8-13, 4-6 in the SEC. We'll have the opening. Tom Hammond and Bob Wetlick from the Maravich Assembly Center in Baton Rouge as Auburn takes on LSU. This is the second meeting of the season between the two, and the officials, Wally Tanner in the center. He'll be the referee tonight. The umpires, David Baer on the left, Charlie Watkins on the right. The Tiger is here in full regalia. LSU leading the series 54-43, and here at the Assembly Center, they've won the last 3 and 11-7 overall. Up in Auburn, January 6th, it was a close game. LSU winning it 77-70. Auburn's a little better than that now, but they must take to the road in this instance. Dennison, Brandt, Arnold, Battle, and Gallen for Auburn. LSU counters with Singleton, Sims, O'Neal, Williamson, and Jackson. The second time this season Dale Brown has used this starting quintet. They started against Mississippi State here Monday night. O'Neal controls the opening tap. How's Auburn going to play defense?
They'll go man-to-man. We'll just have to see how aggressive, but that's the one thing they didn't want to happen is Chris Jackson get out of the blocks early.
Jackson blows by the defense and scores a layup, and here's full court pressure.
I've really been impressed with the way Gallen has handled pressure in the games that we've had them. But he's a guy that has to stay on the court for him.
Gallen being guarded by Williamson in the zone defense that LSU's playing.
Going to trap it on the wings, put some additional pressure on him.
Brandt, Dennison fires a 3. Derek Dennison with an outside shot. And he puts Auburn on top.
Now we see early that they're going to play behind O'Neal in the post, which means he's going to handle the ball.
Great pass. O'Neal to Singleton for the layup.
Here's the press again. 2-2-1 is always suspect in the middle and down the sides into the deep corner. Of course, they went to the middle that time.
Dennison spotted up again from where he hit a 3 a moment ago. This is Battle. He can shoot the 3 also. Into the corner. And they trap there. Brant should have shot the ball, instead tried to pass it to Battle, and LSU knocked it out of bounds. He had a wide open 15-footer.
Well, that's one of the things you can do when you have a guy like O'Neal in the post. You can trap and gamble because guys are looking him in the face and they're intimidated by the fact that he's the leading shot blocker in the league.
Down to 12 seconds on the shot clock. Nice pass. Brant to Arnold. He missed the layup. Knocked out of bounds by LSU.
Well, one thing we see early is if they're going to allow, and I say they, LSU allow the ball to come into the high post, O'Neal has to come up. And when he comes up, that opens it up underneath for the little dump-in pass on the baseline. And they've done that twice. They just haven't scored yet.
Arnold surrounded by Singleton, and O'Neal lost it. Here's Williamson, a 3-on-2 break. Jackson. No good, but the rebound, Singleton takes it back up. Brant got a piece of it, and here comes Auburn. Battle's wide open.
He's coming off a big night against Georgia State and also played well in the first game against them, so that shouldn't be a surprise. He's the guy you have to spot up as their three-point shooter.
Battle could be only the second freshman to lead Auburn in scoring. There's O'Neal. When they get it to him in that spot, he's unstoppable. That's his first bucket, and LSU regains the lead. Tigers of LSU up 6-5.
Handling the press without too much difficulty, but it's the half-court defense that seems to be creating problems for them. Once again, drive the gaps, make people play, and look to the baseline, which is where it's open. You can see Brant roaming the baseline. If that ball goes into the high post, he'll be open underneath. Battle off the back of the rim. He got his own rebound. And Auburn will set it up again against the LSU zone. Bad pass. O'Neal intercepted, and then Dennison takes it right back and scores. Dennison's one of the guys athletically that can play with this group, and for him to get off the blocks early is a real plus for Eagles.
7-6, Auburn, a 1-point lead.
Little trap of their own.
Inside O'Neal, Brant in a mismatch, but O'Neal shoots it too hard off the glass. Here's Gallen with a quick pass into Dennison. He's trapped and gets it back out straight away to Gallen.
You can see the backside as they overplay the guard on top. When the other guard goes out to trap, has to drop back into the lane, and that leaves the backside wide open to throw it across the top.
Brant knocked down by O'Neal. And the ball goes out of bounds, and they rule LSU's ball.
Well, I think he started to lose his balance and tried to throw the ball and just kind of threw it down.
Third turnover for Auburn as LSU tries to regain the lead. Williamson, three-point shot is good.
We talked about him at the top. We did a little profile on him. He's really added a dimension to what they're doing offensively.
4 of the 5 Tigers starters have scored, all but Sims for LSU.
Auburn is showing great patience against the trap, and the one thing you have to keep in mind is that after a period of time, it can be very tiring.
Ronnie Battle can hit that all night long. Another 3 for Battle. He and Dennison have combined for 5 apiece, and it's Auburn by a point. Jackson for 3.
Can't allow him to do that. You've got to get up into him and force him to be a driver. Cannot allow him to shoot the three-pointer uncontested.
Chris Jackson has 5 points.
Right now, the press is more token pressure and making him take time off the clock, getting the ball up the floor than it is to try to get the basketball.
Played almost 5 minutes without a foul. Dennison threw a bad pass, but Brant was able to save it to Arnold. Arnold against O'Neal. O'Neal blocked it, but also committed the foul. Shaquille O'Neal with the game's first foul after we played almost 5 minutes.
I think we're going to see that they're going to continue to have patience against the zone, because with LSU trapping out of the zone, Jackson and Maurice Williams are going to have to cover a lot of territory. And, you know, LSU does not go that deep. They're only about 7 guys deep, and that's going to be a problem for them. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see him drop it back in and not be so aggressive with it.
You're looking at 53, Stanley Roberts, the 7-foot sophomore for LSU out of Hopkins, South Carolina, as Arnold misses the free throw. Also in is Harold Boudreau, 6'9" sophomore from Arnaudville, Louisiana, a sometime starter, as was Roberts for most of the year. Arnold hits 1 of 2 at the Auburn free throw line. 15:06 left in the first half. Seesaw game. Right now it's LSU leading Auburn by 1. 11 lead on Auburn at the 15:06 mark of the first half. The announcers for this game selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Tutter Productions. The broadcast a copyright presentation. Any use of the broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot is prohibited. Great shooting by both teams so far. Auburn 4 of 6, that's 66%. LSU even better, 5 of 7, 71%. Three-point shooting as well. There's Stanley Roberts. Well, he was on the floor about 10 seconds before he scored a hoop, coming off a 23-point-12 rebound performance against Mississippi State Monday.
Roberts will be a real problem for Auburn because he is a very good offensive player in the low post.
Loose ball. Chris Jackson has it. Gets it to Williamson. Brant blocked it. Here's O'Neal, and that one almost intercepted by Dennison. Jackson goes up and gets the roll.
An amazing series. Auburn had their hands on the ball 3 different times, and LSU gets a three-pointer out of it.
O'Neal with an offensive board. That's the second offensive rebound for LSU, although Auburn has a rebounding edge so far, 3-2.
Well, we see now man-to-man, and that does not surprise me because Auburn was showing great patience against the zone.
That's a mismatch. Put a little salt and pepper on that one. Brant ate it as both Roberts and O'Neal were looming right next to him, and Roberts, the man that rejected that one.
Well, it's so tough with these big guys because you're always looking for something.
That time, it's Boudreau that sneaks in behind to block Arnold's shot. O'Neal. Brant trying to play behind him. O'Neal pumps, shoots, no good. And a pushing foul. It's going to be Chris Brant of Auburn. Auburn's first foul of the game.
O'Neal just does not have the offensive skills that Roberts has right now. O'Neal is more of a rebounder and a shot blocker and intimidator. Roberts is really a skilled offensive player, but as these two guys work together, boy, they're going to be unbelievable as time goes on. It's just amazing to see how big they really are and how agile.
O'Neal's only 17 years old. Those skills will come as John Kaler comes in to take a turn on trying to guard the big guys. Pass sails into back court, and Williamson chases it down. It'll be over and back. Third turnover committed by LSU as the bench of the Tigers arguing that it was touched by an Auburn player. Dale Brown talking to Dave Baer. And now they do reverse the call. It'll go back to LSU, and Tommy Joe Eagles has his say.
Well, I think what happened is I think that they got together and they agreed that there was a tip on the situation. Tommy Joe Eagles is working on a tech right now. If you're the official, though, I think you have to really listen to him. You have to take a real listen to that one. You know, you may want to give him a technical, but my feeling has always been when there is a real disparity in the call, as there was in that situation, coach has a chance to vent his frustration. I think Wally Tanner's had enough.
Well, Eagles has got his tie over his shoulder and everything else. He got into it. You know, Tommy Joe Eagles is from Louisiana, played and coached at Louisiana Tech. He knows all about LSU.
But Dale's out cleaning up the floor while Tommy Joe is going crazy.
Kaler not able to stop Roberts as he just muscled it for a slam.
I think they're going to have to take a look at either coming back in and really helping on Roberts or fronting him. They can't let him have the ball in low without any help because he can overpower anybody they have defensively inside.
LSU with its biggest lead. Brant trying to post up Roberts. Forget that. Gallen will try a three. On the floor, Brant out-hustles Roberts for the loose ball.
Brant has really played well for him lately.
There's a bad pass, but it's saved by Battle.
They've got to look inside and use their inside game as a disguise to set up their perimeter shooters because they're not going to shoot the ball with their big guys inside.
Dennison. Derek Dennison had his foot on the three-point line. It's only a 2, but it's the 7th of the game for Derek Dennison. And Auburn pulls back within 5. Jackson got Gallen to commit, but couldn't score.
Amazing.
Lost out of bounds by Boudreau after O'Neal muscled it away.
I'll tell you what, O'Neal goes to the board every time. Roberts has a tendency to be a little bit lazy, but O'Neal makes a legitimate attempt to rebound the ball every time, and that's why he's posting the numbers he is off the glass. Auburn
trying to stop that 12-5 LSU run. That last turnover was the 3rd against LSU. We wiped out the earlier one. It was not an over and back, and that'll be the 3rd.
The If Auburn will have patience, they'll get some easy shots because LSU is gambling and guarding people instead of watching the ball, and they're getting screened and having a tough time in traffic.
They still haven't learned that you can't bring that stuff in the lane. Take it out of here.
Not without a pump fake.
Roberts over the back of Brandt, knocked it away. Jackson leads the break. Short jumper is short. Jackson got the rebound. Then he lost it. Here's Dennison wide open.
Dunk.
Back over the head. He tried one of those against Tennessee the other day and missed it. The fans let him know what they think about it with a chorus of boos. Quick shot, no good, and then was that O'Neal that tapped it in?
O'Neal with the tap in. Once again, he's always there. If they'll work Roberts on one side offensively with O'Neal picking up the garbage on the backside, it's going to make for a long night for Auburn, especially with Mo Williamson and Jackson shooting the ball as well as they do.
Jackson went for the foul. You probably heard about the unbelievable game that Shaq O'Neal had against Loyola Marymount. 20 points, 24 rebounds, and an SEC record 12 block shots. I've never heard of that.
Well, I had guys you could put in a room by themselves and they wouldn't get 24 rebounds in a game. So
we've got a timeout. 11:20 left in the half. LSU up by 5. LSU leading Auburn 20-15 with 11:20 left in the opening half from Baton Rouge. LSU hoping to stay in first place in the SEC. Here's the first half score from Lexington, Kentucky, leading Vanderbilt 44-37. The Wildcats have been tough at home this season under Rick Pitino. Of course, we'll have all the scores for you coming up at halftime on our Budweiser scoreboard. Well, both teams continue to shoot well. Auburn 6 of 11, 54%. LSU 9 of 15, 60%. Randy Duvall into the game for LSU. Number 34, a 6'4 junior from Baton Rouge. He's also been a starter at times this year. Brandt couldn't handle the pass. Gallen.
Good effort.
Goes to get it and is undercut by Williamson. It'll be a foul on Maurice Williamson, his first, and 3 now against LSU.
I tell you, that's a foul a coach likes. That's just good, a good hustle play. Once again, the big guys are having trouble inside with screening for LSU, but because of their size, they can recover. Even though they're beat, they can still recover and intimidate and block shots.
To show you the way the game's going, LSU has outscored Auburn in the paint 10-2. The presence of Roberts and O'Neal. Dennison put on a dribbling show, then took a bad shot, and O'Neal rebounds it.
Well, that's a tough matchup for Boudreaux, quickness-wise, but that's a bad shot by Dennison.
Williamson leans in for his 5th point of the game. 22-15 as LSU equals its longest lead at 7.
I think Jackson really kind of got his nose bumped, and I think they've taken him out just to kind of check it out, and Williamson will have to run the point for him.
There's another rejection out of bounds. Williamson got his nose crunched in the game against Marymount. Cracked his nose, and
well, you got 4 blocks already. Here he's got the ball in there. What he has to do in there is he either has to pump fake, get the defensive player committed, or pump fake, and if the defensive player doesn't take the fake, he's got to kick it back out. He cannot shoot the ball over those guys.
Chris Jackson on the bench, and Jackson has a black eye too that he got in that Loyola Marymount game. That was some game, 148-141 in overtime.
116 shots. And 56 of them three-pointers. We didn't get that many shots in the game, regular shots.
Gallen, O'Neal picked him up on the mismatch, then Taylor rolls to the hoop and has his shot blocked by Roberts, who came over to help. Well, he faked O'Neal into the air, and Roberts helped out.
They're really complimenting each other. Nope, no way.
Brandt fouled him, and Roberts scores anyway.
Well, see, what's happening is the defensive player off the feeder is not really getting back. He's giving token pressure into the low post, but you have to get back in, and if he puts the ball on the floor, you have to have the ball. That's token pressure. Roberts knows it, so he's ignoring the guy coming back in, and it's an overmatch for Brandt. So this is going to go on all night unless they get back in and really pressure the ball.
First free throw of the game by LSU is no good. They've improved their free throw shooting somewhat. Gallen blew right by Williamson, and then Roberts goaltended. Well, Gallen showed some quickness there. He went right around Mo Williamson.
I think he's one of the underrated players in the league. I've been particularly impressed with how he's played. particularly against older players. There it is again.
Back to a 7-point lead. There's John Kaler with his first foul.
Yeah, see, LSU has just found a gold mine in here with Roberts, and unless you're on the side, there's no way you can keep him from getting the ball, so there's no sense in reaching around. You cannot reach around a guy that big without fouling him.
There's another one on Kaler. That's his second in the space of 1 second.
Well, you can imagine coming in here and you got the number 1 and number 3 shot blockers in the league, you know, and the two of the top 3 rebounders in the league, and here you are, Kaler and Brandt and Zane Arnold, and you're looking up to these guys and you're saying, man, are you kidding me? They give me a scholarship for this?
The Auburn front line goes 6'6", 6'6", 6'6".
Oh, and I'm going to tell you, those may be overrated heights.
That was Shaq O'Neal for his 6th point of the game. And LSU begins to pull away. The Tigers now up 9, equaling their biggest. Larry Patrick on the floor for Auburn, replacing Dennison. Patrick, a 6'5" junior from West Palm Beach, Florida. John Kaler with the outside shot. His first bucket.
That's your offense right there. Up and around the top of the key. Your big guys bringing their big guys away from the basket.
There's a push-off foul on Harold Boudreau of LSU. Pushing for position, commits his first.
Boudreau's getting a lot of playing time tonight. And I think, you know, Dale's trying to develop that 8th guy and has really elected to give him some playing time. He's got some guys sitting out there who really haven't been very deep this year. So, good move early on. Jackson back in the game.
And Mo Williamson gets a rest. Auburn with 7 turnovers. LSU just committing its 4th on the foul. LSU's converted those into 8 points. Auburn 4 off turnovers.
The great thing if you're LSU and you're a perimeter player is you can go out and overplay and gamble and reach and do anything you want because the offensive players have no place to go. That's the advantage of having the big guy.
Battle got away from everybody and hit the shot. That was a nice move. He just out-dribbled the big guys.
Well, they have to understand that they're going to have to pull up and shoot the 8 to 12 footers because anything inside of that is going to the nickel seats. Auburn hanging tough.
Roberts on the double team lost it. Now it's down where anybody can get it, and Kaler does. Here's Patrick into front court for Auburn. Champ Rencher directing the attack from the point now, replacing Gallen. Rencher came in a reserve role at the point against Tennessee and did a good job Saturday. Patrick threw a bad pass. He was lucky it was only knocked out of bounds by Robert.
Well, he needs to take a dribble to the baseline. Patrick, they've got him on the high side defensively, and if Patrick will take him down to the baseline, he can make that pass.
Timeout here at Baton Rouge with 8:08 left in the opening half. Auburn continues to stay within striking distance, within 5. LSU 26, Auburn 21, and Auburn, despite some mistakes, staying right there.
Well, in this last play, Patrick's got Zane Arnold in the post, and you can see Stanley Roberts on the high side. Instead of making that long a pass, he needs to dribble it to the baseline. Zane Arnold holds off Roberts, catches the ball moving to the basket, but you can't make the pass in that position.
Here's Rencher out to set up the offense. Chris Jackson right with him. See the good shooting continuing by both teams. Of course, in LSU's case, those have been about 3-footers. Except for Jackson's bombs. Battle, he fires. He's had a hot hand all night long. That was a 2. Battle now with 9 points. 3-point LSU lead. Williamson tried to kick it back out, and Rencher has a 3-on-2 break. He leaves it to Battle, who lays it in. Textbook fast break.
Really good play. Good decision by Rencher. They kept it spread. Nice pass.
Auburn on an 8-0 run is pulled within a point. They go back inside to the bread and butter. Roberts cut off, gets it back. Good job by Arnold. Didn't matter, though. Roberts just went up top to shoot.
Nothing you can do about that. Down at this end, LSU is really having trouble with screens. They're going on the backside or the side away from the ball when they try to guard people breaking to the ball, which means they're coming in behind them, and Roberts getting wide open jump shots.
Roberts hasn't missed. 4 for 4 from the field.
Once again, we're getting some overplay. Wouldn't be surprised to see Auburn hitting the high post and make a back cut off the wing here pretty soon. Reset.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Rencher is called for a 5-second count. Costly turnover for Auburn. They didn't get a shot. Tommy Joe Eagles had the offense going, but they didn't get a shot of it as Duval comes back for LSU.
Well, what happens a lot of times when you reset your offense is people don't get into position quickly enough, and you have to remember you're being closely guarded. You have to break that defensive guard, or you're going to get the 5 call. Good call by the official.
Rencher sits down as Gallen comes back on to direct the attack. Dennison and Brandt also return for Auburn. And LSU has Duval in along with Jackson and Williamson, Sims and Roberts. Oh, Jackson missed the shot, but Roberts pumped it through.
Boy, Jackson puts so much pressure on you, and what happens, he dribbles and mesmerizes you. People get standing around, and then they don't react to the passes.
Stanley Roberts is the leading scorer in the game, or for LSU, the leading scorer with 10. Leading scorer in the game, Battle of Auburn with 11. Six minutes left in the first half. Roberts with another block of Arnold's shot. Third block by Roberts. Now they'll give it to Roberts on the offensive end.
Oh, travel, missed it.
In the paint, Roberts, 5 for 5, and an Auburn foul.
Tommy Joe's not happy. He thinks they missed it. He thinks they missed a travel, and they may have, but you have to play through that. Once again, they're isolating Roberts in the post. With O'Neal out, he's got the whole lane to work with, and he's so gifted offensively that if you let him have the ball, he's on the free throw line or he's going to get it in the hole.
Stanley Roberts, the in the free throw. Everything's going right for him.
See, that shouldn't count. You got to call board on that, or you shouldn't get credit for it.
Dale Brown told him he had to lose 25 pounds to regain his starting spot, but he may change his mind, although coming off the bench, he certainly is a potent force. 13 points tonight. Patrick out-scraps Duval for that loose ball, and Auburn retains possession.
They have to worry about the clock.
Dennison looking inside. Do better to set your sights on the perimeter.
Good move offensively, using the big guys by Tommy Joe Eagles to come out and release pressure.
Shot clock down to 5. Dennison floats it over Roberts. No good. Roberts with a rebound. Here's the outlet to Williamson, and it's stripped away by Gallen on the floor, saved by Auburn. Good scrap by this young Auburn team. Gallen pulls up over Roberts. He got nothing.
Boy, you talk about that's got to be real fear when you see that guy coming at you in your Gallen size, although Gallen is really a tough little guy. But Roberts doing a good job of pressuring the shot.
Well, they call him Half Gallen. He's 5'10". Can you imagine to see that 7-footer with that big wingspan swooping at you?
All you're hoping there is you're more than hoping that you don't miss. You're hoping he misses you.
LSU on a 7-0 run after Auburn had been hot. Gallen, who else in there with the big guys, comes down with it.
Chris Jackson has struggled as of late. Boy, he's right around the cylinder, but that thing just won't go down for him right now.
Brandt had a step on Sims, but they couldn't get him the ball.
They've got him. Yes.
There's a pushing foul. Dennison of Auburn. Away from the ball, Dennison commits his first. Wally Tanner tells him the push-off will be your first foul.
Well, we see it in here down in the right-hand part of your screen. You see 24 down there. He pushed off once. He pushes off again. Gets caught the second time. They've got to keep this thing under control. People are really starting to bang each other.
8-point LSU lead. Roberts travels. Took a hop, and that was it. Took a hop and then a pivot, and that'll be a turnover. So Stanley Roberts of LSU turns the ball over. Auburn will have it with 4:07 left in the half, and LSU up 33-25. Tom Hammond and Bob Weltlich from the Deaf Dome, the Pete Maravich Assembly Center in Baton Rouge. The home team on top. Just over 4 minutes left in the opening half. Well, 4 SEC title contenders on display for you Saturday. Some of you will see these LSU Tigers travel to Knoxville to take on Tennessee. Others will see Alabama in Athens to take on Georgia. Check your local listing for the game in your area. And next Wednesday at 8 o'clock, another couple of contenders, Georgia and Vanderbilt from Nashville, starting at 8 o'clock Eastern time on most of these SEC stations.
Is there anybody in this league that isn't a contender?
Very good point. 20-6, the points in the paint as the LSU size continues to take its toll offensively and defensively.
Well, and we'll really get to see that, I think, in the second half. You know, we'll see how well they hold up.
3-point shot by Battle. He has 14 points in the first half, and that's the first Auburn bucket since the 7:20 mark. Right now, we're at 3:38. O'Neal, he takes over the spot in the low post, and how do you stop that?
They have got to get help back in, and they've really got to force him to kick the ball out. I know they're concerned about the shooters, but that isn't a high percentage shot. That's a sure deal in there.
O'Neal has 8 points. Roberts leads everyone with 13. Ronnie Battle, the leading scorer for either team in the game. He has 14 first-half points.
They need to keep looking for Battle, because if there's one area that Williamson needs improvement in, it's his defensive play. He likes to gamble a lot, and you gamble on a great shooter, you'll pay a price.
Shot clock to 8 seconds.
I don't think they know it. I don't think they know it.
Gallen with 3. Brant, and they won't get a shot off.
They didn't see it.
Oh, Brant banked it in from over on the sideline. It would have been a 3-point shot had it been half a second earlier.
They just didn't see it. Never once did Gallen look up. In fact, he and Battle are talking about it. They just lost track of the clock. What I was going to mention is that as physical as LSU is, it'll be interesting to see the wear and tear on the Auburn team as we get later in the game. It's constant banging with those big bodies.
Dale Brown back to the Twin Tower look. O'Neal and Roberts in the game at the same time and doing the same thing. That was O'Neal, his 10th point. 37-28. O'Neal has hit 5 of 7. And Roberts is 6 for 6. Floater by Battle won't go. Roberts takes it away from Brant, and Jackson brings it into front court.
Good adjustment.
And all else fails, go into the big guys. Roberts just now came back down court, and Battle stripped it away. Battle against Jackson, dunk. Ronnie Battle with 16 points in the first half, and Auburn cuts the lead to 7 inside the 2-minute mark. Roberts, Duvall, 15-footer is good.
What Auburn's having trouble with is they want to come down and establish initial post position and force the LSU players out. But after 1 or 2 passes and adjustments defensively, you find both Roberts and O'Neal in the blocks, and then that's killing them.
LSU's lead is 9. Dennison got away, and then with Roberts and O'Neal looming there, he just sailed it across the basket.
He may have gotten away with the push-off on the shot, too.
Williamson for 3. No good. Dennison with rebound for Auburn.
Well, I can see why Dale wants Roberts to lose 20 pounds. You know, he's starting to huff and puff and really has not gone to the board the last couple of times.
Well, they say that they were really huffing and puffing in that game against Marymount. Here's a foul on Auburn away from the basketball. It was on Battle.
I think it was on Battle underneath with Williamson. Williamson has an ability to kind of, you know, he seems to always be where there's a problem. And somehow, in this particular instance, he's coming out to shoot free throws.
Maurice Williamson will go to the free throw line. Only the 3rd free throw in the first half by LSU. Auburn's attempted only 2. Williamson, a 60% free throw shooter, but in the game against Ole Miss a week ago, stepped to the line with 8 seconds left and hit 2 to win it for the Tigers.
Well, they're just so tough. You know, they're leading the league in field goal percentage, rebounds, block shots, scoring margin, the whole 9 yards. So there's the tee. He worked for it. He earned it, and he acknowledged it. And in fact,
did you read his lips? He said, that's the best call you've made tonight.
Oh, Tommy Joe, do it to him. Do it to him.
So Maurice Williamson has one left. Then we'll have 2 technical free throws, and LSU will get the ball. This could be a potential 7-point trip. Chris Jackson, who is only the 3rd leading free throw shooter in America, first in the SEC at 91.2%, hits his 14th in a row over the past couple of games. Earlier this year, he had a string of 35 in a row. In fact, Jackson now is 127 out of 140 this season.
Well, the thing that's a little bit deceptive about LSU is they are not, as a team, good free throw to shooting team. But if you can get the ball in Jackson's hand at the end of a game, he's shooting 90+, so that figure's a little deceptive.
At one time, LSU was the cellar dweller in the SEC free throw list, but they climbed up to 8. Roberts misses for the first time in the game, and Arnold has the rebound. So it was a 4-point trip. Battle missed that one, and the rebound to Duvall.
I don't think Tommy Joe wanted that. They could have played the clock down and got the last shot or close to it, and now LSU has a chance to kick it up to 15 or 16 before the half.
Chris Jackson's been pretty quiet for him tonight. He scored 7 points early, and then hasn't found the range of late. Those 2 free throws the first time he scored in 10 or 12 minutes. Down to 15 seconds in the half.
I think we know what we're going to get here. We're going to get Jackson going one-on-one. Push off. Yes.
Good call. Offensive foul. Chris Jackson, his 2nd. It'll give Auburn the ball with 9 seconds left. Time to get a shot.
Dale's not happy. He's yelling at Chris to get the ball inside. There's no reason not to. Good call by Wally Tanner.
Battle being pressured by Williamson. 1 second left. He gets it off. And
oh! Yes.
Well, Battle lofted it high in the air off the over the outstretched arm of Stanley Roberts, and it found the bottom of the net. Here's that last play again.
Well, you know, they come down. They're patient. I thought once again that Battle and Gallen had lost track of time. Battle being hand-checked, blows by Williamson. That's the play Williamson makes that kills you. You've got to play it solid in the last couple of seconds. Once that guy gets by you, it's nothing but wide-open territory. And the coaches were talking to him about that yesterday, not reaching around.
Well, that rainbow shot could be a momentum maker for Auburn. We'll see. We'll hope you'll stay with us now at intermission. We'll take a look at our SEC Player of the Week. We'll have our Pepsi SEC Trivia question. We'll have all the scores in college basketball tonight and stats and highlights from the first 20 minutes of action here in Baton Rouge. We're at halftime. The LSU Tigers have the lead. It's 43-32 LSU at intermission. We'll be right back.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for
Auburn 43-32 at the intermission. And it's time now to take a look at our Jefferson Pilot Southeastern Conference Rookie of the Week. And it's a young man that we've been seeing tonight. In fact, he was the Rookie of the month of December. And he's going to be a force for a long time in the Southeastern Conference. Shaquille O'Neal, the freshman center of the LSU Tigers.
Well, he's absolutely amazing. This past week, he averaged almost 14 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 block shots. And as you can see there, the triple-double. 12 block shots in the game is almost unheard of. And every one of them was necessary for them to win against Loyola Marymount. He's so active. He's becoming a much better offensive player. And tonight, in fact, in the first half alone, he's got 10 points, which is a big reason for their early lead. He's a tremendous player, and the sky's the limit for this guy.
Shaquille O'Neal, who leads the Southeastern Conference in both rebounding and block shots, our Jefferson Pilot SEC Rookie of the Week. And O'Neal, with 10 points in the first half, has helped LSU to that 11-point lead. We'll be back with our Budweiser scoreboard in just a moment.
Start out in there man-to-man.
Gallen, Battle, Arnold, Brandt, and Dennison on the floor for Auburn. There's a block. That one by Duvall, who starts the second half for LSU, along with Williamson, O'Neal, Jackson, and Roberts. Duvall travels, so LSU turns it over, and Auburn will get it back.
One thing that, I think that Dale Brown has got to be pleased with is that the number of assists, meaning that they're getting the ball inside, which has been an area that they have not been very productive at. And they've gone to their bread and butter, and you got to give him credit. He's taking advantage of the mismatch inside to get to get the big lead.
Neither team able to score on its first possession of the second half. Dennison works inside and then dips it away. Jackson picks it off and sets sail for the hoop. Knocked away by Gallen. Good defensive recovery by Gallen to knock the ball away from Jackson.
Well, Jackson sensed the pressure on the right and got preoccupied and didn't realize that Gallen was sprinting back on his left. In fact, I think Jackson was actually trying to draw the foul, pace himself to take the ball up and get the foul, but Gallen made a good play.
O'Neal over Brandt. And the rebound to Dennison. He hasn't missed many of those easy shots, but he did that time. Then Brandt takes it right to the hoop. He sort of beat O'Neal back down the court, and O'Neal commits his second foul.
Well, they're going to have to look at getting up and down the floor, getting the big guys caught in transition where they're playing from the free throw line to the free throw line. They get some cheap baskets out of it. That's something they did. Auburn did against Tennessee in our last outing, and they're going to obviously try to exploit that early on.
First point of the night for Chris Brandt, who had a career-high 28 in that win over Tennessee on Saturday. Roberts clears the rebound. Williamson is 1 on 4, so he waits for his teammates. Baseline floater, Mo Williamson.
Well, Auburn is now trying to deny Chris Jackson the ball all over the floor, which is going to develop into a 4-on-4 game inside, and we'll just have to see whether Auburn can strap it up with the other 4 players.
Dennison in the tall timber looks for help. And they recycle the offense. LSU leading by 12. Battle right around Williamson. Laid it up and in. Pretty move.
They can get some isolated situations. If they can get those big guys to honor the Auburn big players up in the high post, that's going to give Auburn some drives to the basket. They're doing a better job of getting back in.
They gave Duvall the 3, but he couldn't hit it. Rebound fumbled out of bounds by Williamson. Auburn will get the basketball.
Duvall is a good shooter, but where that matchup becomes hard on going back in on the post is when Jackson and Williamson are on the ball side, because they're much better three-point shooters.
Gallen matched up against Jackson, 2 of the quickest players in the conference. Dennison pops a 3, no good. O'Neal. Duvall pulls up, dishes inside to Roberts. Back of the rim, not there, and knocked out of bounds. Back to Auburn. LSU just doesn't seem quite as sharp to open the second half.
No, but Auburn's playing on borrowed time here, because once again the ball continues to go inside, and those balls are looking in the basket. It's just, you know, you cannot hope they're going to miss 4- and 5-footers all night long.
10-point LSU lead. Gallen a 3. Battle chases it down. Inside Arnold. Oh, a quick move around O'Neal, who committed his 3rd foul.
That's what we talked about in the first half. They've got to create activity off the dribble, because the inside play of Auburn is quicker. Here you see the pass into the post. Now what they had been doing in the first half is turning around trying to shoot it over them. But when they put the ball on the floor, their quickness enables them to get the half a step. Now you get some reaching and body fouls, and that's the way they have to score inside. They cannot turn around, look the LSU players in the face, and shoot it over them.
Arnold is now 2 of 3 at the free throw line. Has only 2 points tonight. He also has only 1 rebound.
Try to deny Jackson the ball once again, make him work bringing the ball up. But in the same token, that's going to take its toll on Gallen as well. Well, the Auburn players are getting caught in no man's land. They're not sure what to do. And if you're not going to block the shot, you surely should not let the guy slide to the basket on you.
LSU back up by 10. Battle got away from Williamson, banked it through.
They may have to make a defensive adjustment, I think, because I just don't think that Williamson is solid enough defensively to handle Battle if they work him off screens.
Battle with 22 points now.
DeVal might be a better choice.
Roberts inside. Arnold got him on the arm. First foul of the second half on Auburn, number 2 on Zane Arnold.
I think it'd be interesting for Auburn to take a look maybe once or twice at a zone just to disrupt rhythm. Now, it's a tough defense to rebound out of, but it might give them some help inside and see if they can't get those inside guys a little bit better under control.
Roberts has hit 6 of 8 from the field, but only 1 of 3 at the free throw line. Former South Carolina Player of the Year, won 2 state championships during his high school days. High school All-American player. Short on that one, and little Gallen handles it for Auburn.
Well, if there's an Achilles heel for LSU, it has been their free throw shooting. Evidenced their game against Georgia where they missed the front end of 10 1-and-1s.
Gallen gets a screen from Brandt, can't get away. Battle looks inside to Arnold, now throws it in there to him. Against O'Neal. O'Neal blocked it, so did Roberts. Oh! Takes it away on the block. Williamson, I thought he caught his own pass, and then Arnold commits the foul, number 3. I don't know if an Auburn player touched it. I thought Williamson threw it to himself.
Well, they're saying that it was hit by the Auburn player. There it is, and he doesn't. This is the key to blocking shots. You know, whenever I see a guy block a shot and knock it in the nickel seats, my ultimate thought is, hey, that team gets the ball back. The great shot blockers are guys who block shots and keep them in play. 8 blocks so far, just, amazing.
So O'Neal, who came into the game with 67 blocks already, an LSU season record, has a shot at the SEC record 95 set by Dwayne Shinsis as Williamson misses the free throw. Singleton is in for LSU and Kaler for Auburn.
Well, I noticed last time down they had the matchup we talked about. They had DeVal on Battle.
Williamson hits 1 of 2 at the free throw line, so with 15:42 left in the game, Auburn's up 48-39. Did I say Auburn was ahead as we went to commercial? LSU up 48-39, 15:42 left in the game. Here's a look at the crowd, 14,060 on hand tonight, putting LSU to 218,550 on the season. That's a new LSU home attendance record for all time. Auburn only 28% shooting in the second half after hitting 50% the first half, but LSU's dropped 2 down to 33%.
I like LSU shots better, though, and I think that has to be concerned. I think we're going to see it at 2-3 again. We've got Singleton back in the game. Oh, trapped, but they over-trapped it.
Nice save by Boudreau, who just came in. Williamson spins, can't score. O'Neal, though, with the offensive rebound. Boudreau travels.
Good call.
So LSU turns it over.
Interesting lineup here. Interesting lineup. They've got Duval playing as a guard. Front line guys with Boudreau and Singleton really gives them a lot of quickness. See some trapping out of this.
Turnovers all even at 12 apiece. And Auburn trying to cut into that 9-point lead.
Once again, that high post area is really open on top, and that creates the baseline move.
Battle made a baseline move that time and drew the foul. It'll be number 4 on Shaquille O'Neal, so that becomes a factor now for LSU.
Interesting move by Dale Brown. Little change of pace. Give him a different look. Good move.
Kaler's inbound pass hits the bottom of the backboard, and Auburn turns it over. So Auburn winds up not getting a shot on that possession, and they still trail by 9.
Kind of surprised they got Brandt playing O'Neal instead of Kaler.
Singleton, Duval's wide open, goes inside though to O'Neal, who banks it, and it came out. Singleton's follow. He's fouled by Kaler. That follow by O'Neal will not count. It'll be Vernell Singleton at the free throw line after John Kaler committed his third foul.
Well, what happens, what's really interesting about this is you see this all developing, and you lose track of the fact that Singleton and Boudreau are in the 6'7", 6'8" range because O'Neal's so big. You don't realize how big. I mean, they're bigger than the Auburn players, so it's no surprise that they're able to make this substitution and still work the backboard.
Vernell Singleton, who got his second start tonight, gets his third point of the game. He was a starter at center for LSU last year and has been playing well of late. In fact, coming into the game, 22 of his last 31 shots, about 71%. 50-39 now, LSU.
This is a good pace for Auburn right here.
Again, Battle goes right around the defense, then misses the shot. Strong rebound by Singleton. Williamson, a lob to O'Neal, and Battle with an undercut. Foul on Ronnie Battle of Auburn, number 2.
Well, not a bad play. You know, just once again, you stick a body on the guy. This is, this is one of those plays that you have to make. You stick a body on him. Didn't mean to. Was going to go up and try to deflect the ball, but O'Neal gets caught off balance. That's a dangerous play, but it's a play you have to make if you're Auburn.
There's a look at Battle, who's having a big game, one of the candidates for our golf MVP. Golf and its dealers will donate $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of each school in honor of our most valuable players. This looks like it might be a double foul coming up.
Yeah, I think it is. I think we've got Zane Arnold and Vernell Singleton are just kind of working each other over, and the officials are starting to sense that this thing is getting a little bit physical, or maybe too physical. I don't know. What have
That's his first personal foul.
It is Arnold and Singleton, number 4 on Arnold and number 1 on Singleton.
Excuse me, Tom. It's probably pretty good preventive officiating in this game like this.
Those big bruisers of LSU, it's hard not to be physical. There was a hook by O'Neal. He got away with it and dished it to Boudreau for the lay-in.
Wow. And I tell you, when he hooks you, man, with that arm,
52-39. LSU equals its biggest lead.
It's still a good pace, though, for Auburn because they can control tempo out of this and shoot the ball when they want to.
Brandt misses the layup. Boudreau on the outlet to Williamson. Out of bounds to LSU. Williamson with some great body control to knock the ball off Gallen.
Well, it was a great play, but I tell you, interestingly enough, what I think actually happened, it being in front of us, is I think it actually ended up coming off of the LSU player.
We've got a timeout. The crowd loves it here in Baton Rouge. The home team up 52-39. Tom Hammond, Bob Weltlich from the Maravich Assembly Center. LSU beginning to pull away a little bit from Auburn. It's 52-39. LSU also beginning to assert its dominance on the boards, now leading the rebound parade 21-18. Each team has 8 offensive rebounds in the game, and LSU out shooting Auburn. There's the block shots heavily in favor of LSU, which leads the SEC in that category with their 2 big erasers, O'Neal and Roberts.
Jackson not getting much playing time in the second half. Interesting.
Battle rebounds that miss, and here comes Auburn with a chance to cut into the lead again.
Well, once again, as we see the zone shape up, you're going to get shots. You just have to make them.
John Kaler did for his 4th point of the game. Cuts the lead back to 11. O'Neal couldn't get the roll. Kaler with an outlet. Williamson broke it up, but went out of bounds with it.
As O'Neal works around the basket and develops a little bit softer touch and a little bit more arc, he's going to be unbelievable. He has developed better feel for the game. He just really has not gotten the offensive skills polished yet.
Chris Jackson remains on the LSU bench with his team up by 11 and 13 minutes left. Jackson has not scored in the second half and hasn't played much. Kaler right in the middle made a nice bounce pass to Brandt, who couldn't hit but was fouled.
That's the weakness. As you trap on the wing, if you're lazy in the middle, you're going to give the ball into the middle right there, and the middle man has to come up to challenge the shooter. That opens it up underneath. Brandt's got to get the 3-point play out of that.
Nice pass by Kaler. Singleton has his second foul, the 15th foul on the Tigers.
Getting ready to get some mass substitutions here by LSU.
Well, it'll be Sims, Roberts, and Jackson coming in for the LSU Tigers. As Boudreaux, Duvall, and Singleton go out.
As we watch this game, I get the feeling that LSU is never really being threatened, and yet Auburn's kind of hanging around.
That's kind of what Georgia did in that earlier win here at home of LSU, as Grant hits 1 of 2 at the line to make it a 10-point lead.
They're going to make Williamson shoot the ball. Better job defensively.
They double-teamed Roberts, and he had to get rid of it. Williamson gets free. And Gallen, good block out by Auburn, kept the big guys off the board.
Excellent job of putting their body on somebody and keeping them away from the glass.
Auburn with a chance to get the lead back down into single digits.
Back into man-to-man, trying to pick up tempo a little bit, be more aggressive.
Battle. Tough shot. Roberts. Outlet to Jackson. 8 rebounds for Roberts now.
Good help inside.
A travel call on O'Neal as he dished it to Roberts. That'll be another LSU turnover. And for LSU, number 13, Dale Brown's team, a little ragged, but still with a 10-point lead. And just under 12 minutes left in the game. LSU trying to hold on to a share of first place in the SEC race and up their winning streak to 6 in a row.
Well, once again, I just think it's going to be a tough matchup for Williamson and Battle, because Battle's one of those guys that can really deliver the ball quickly off the dribble. Same thing with Sims against Dennison. Dennison is too quick for him.
Taylor just turns and fires a 3 and bottoms it out.
Woo. Auburn's a little out of sync right now. They're just not sure what they want to do.
John Kaler, who missed 3 games with a hyperextended knee, hits a 3-pointer. He has 7 in the game, and LSU's lead cut to 7. We'll be back to Baton Rouge after a word from Pepsi. LSU up 7 on Auburn with 11:10 left to play. LSU hoping to hold on to a share of first place in the SEC race. They're currently tied with Alabama entering play tonight, with Georgia just a half game back. Tennessee and Kentucky right there, and LSU must go on the road for 3 straight games at Tennessee, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt. And of course, all that means such a well-balanced league that we should have a great tournament. That'll be in Orlando, March 8th through the 11th. And you can order tickets. Ticket books for the 8 games, $80, can be ordered from your favorite SEC Schools ticket office or by calling 407-839-3900.
Well, they got the crowd in it, at least temporarily. We'll see if they can sustain it with a good offensive series here.
Auburn on a 6-0 run. LSU's last score at the 14:05 mark. We're down under 11. 3-point shot by Jackson is short, and Gallen has it for Auburn.
I know one of the Eagles' biggest concerns was that Chris Jackson did not get out of the blocks and play well. And Auburn has done a nice job playing against him. I think he only has 9 points and has really not been much of a factor.
Bryant drives the lane and is fouled. That could be 5 on O'Neal. Let's see. It's on Roberts. Stanley Roberts with his second foul.
Once again, we talked about coming out, catching the ball, and taking the ball to the basket as opposed to taking it in the low post and turning around trying to shoot over it. The big guys have trouble with movement.
Bryant has struggled at the free throw line tonight. He's 2 of 5, and Auburn's going to have to hit the free throws to have any chance to upset LSU. That one hits the front of the rim but rolls through, and that's 16 fouls on LSU, so Auburn shoots the bonus the rest of the way.
Well, likewise, you mentioned the Georgia game earlier, and it has the smell of the Georgia game.
Sims can't hit. Battle for it. Taken away by Gallen, who is body checked out of bounds by Sims. That was a pretty good hockey play.
Well, you know, you can't for whatever reason, LSU can't seem to get it in sync. They either shoot it too quick, or they're taking too much time, or they're missing the open guy. They just right now have a lineup that's trying to feel its way around, and they need to get this thing turned around here because Auburn's making a pretty good run at them.
The fans during the timeout started the chant as they go around the arena, LSU Tigers, and they're still keeping it up. I don't know if it's distracting to the two teams or not, but the free throw no good by Gallen. There's almost a steal by Dennison. Final score, Kentucky whips Vanderbilt by a big margin at Rupp Arena, 100-73. O'Neal draws the foul. Chris Brandt, that's about all they could do. Third on Brandt.
Doesn't have any choice. It's just, once again, it's a mismatch inside. What you're doing is just trying to fight for position. Once again, you have a choice. You either drop in and help, or you pressure the feeder so much that he does not see the guy come open. But the guy guarding Maurice Williamson on that play got caught in between, and Williamson was able to pick and choose.
O'Neal with his first free throw attempt, no good. He hits only 57%, the same as his shooting percentage from the floor. Missed them both. And again, shades of Georgia as Rensher comes down with it. 6-point LSU lead at the halfway point of the second frame.
Well, they're able to get Gallen a little bit of a breather right now, which is going to help both Gallen and Battle.
Taylor rebounds Brandt's miss, and they set it up again. Patrick, three-point shot no good, and Roberts with a strong board.
Got to push it. They got to do something. They've got to create. Jackson's got to get involved offensively, and they've got to get something going that will get people excited and them back into the game.
Dennison and Brandt combine on the steal. Rensher tried to dish it off, and Jackson got a hand to knock it away.
Jackson makes a nice move at him. Rensher interprets it as coming to him to guard the ball. Throws the ball, and Jackson fades to the...
Roberts goes out as Singleton replaces him.
Good play here by Dennison. Instead of picking the ball up, Sims tries to dribble it, and of course they lose control and possession.
Patrick, guarded by Williamson, gets a screen from Taylor. Patrick in the paint, banked it too hard as O'Neal came flying at him. Then Dennison with a steal. He leads the league in steals, and he puts it up, and no good. Still loose. And Patrick chases it down, then loses it out of bounds.
I'm not so sure. He might have been pushed. He's complaining that he was, and he may have a legitimate reason.
Well, Auburn has had plenty of chances to cut into the 6-point lead, and they just can't buy one.
Right now, emotionally, I think they're playing a little bit higher plane than LSU. We talked about the possibility of there being a little bit of a drop-off. LSU got out early on, and for whatever reason has relaxed and is having a hard time cranking the engine back up.
Been 5 minutes since LSU has scored a basket, but Auburn unable to take full advantage of it. 52-46, 9 minutes left.
This is the guy that has to make it happen for him.
Duvall goes up and scores.
Big hoop.
So the 5-minute drought has ended as Randy Duvall collects his 4th point, and the LSU lead climbs back to 8.
Auburn has to be careful. This is a big possession. They can't let LSU get on a roll.
And the fans are trying to encourage their Tigers.
Battle can drive Duvall.
Brandt turns on O'Neal, back out to Battle. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Down to 10 seconds. Gallen goes up, no chance on that one, but he did draw the foul from Chris Jackson, his 3rd.
Turnaround is fair play. That's a play we see Jackson make repeatedly. Gallen took a lesson from his book.
Gallen will go to the free throw line where he's 0 for 1 tonight. Here's Gallen, who missed all of last year with a broken foot. Went halfway down and came back out. out of Miami, and already an SEC Rookie of the Week choice this season, trying to dent that free throw line. Same thing, rolled out on him. He's 0 for 3, and LSU has a chance to get it back into double digits. Chris Jackson pulls up, pumps, no good. Still hasn't scored in the second half. He has 9 for the game. Grant had good position on the rebound, and Auburn again with a chance.
Well, once again, when you shoot the ball quickly in transition.
Steal, Singleton. He out-hustles Taylor for the ball. And then Gallen takes it away.
He's gone.
Ricky Gallen, quickness personified, gets his 4th point. And Auburn has made it once again a close game. It's down to only 6.
What I was going to say is when you score quickly, when you're LSU and you score quickly in transition, the big guys don't get down the floor.
DeVall drains a 3.
Boy, he's had 2 big baskets in this stretch.
DeVall with 7. 57-48 LSU. Singleton took it away from Taylor again, and then Taylor pushed him.
Dale Brown's asking for an intentional. He's got a legitimate gripe.
Yes, sir. Taylor just gave him a shove. 2 times in a row, Singleton picked Taylor's pocket, and LSU will have it. 7:03 left in the game. The Tigers up 57-48. 57-48 LSU. 7:03 left in the game. Let's take a look at our Pepsi SEC Trivia Challenge question. How many points did Pistol Pete score against Alabama to set the SEC record for most points in a game? And it was 69, although Alabama squeaked out a 2-point win. 69 to set the SEC record. You can call 1-900-226-PEPSI to answer that question correctly. Though we've given you the answer, you can still call in and have a chance to win a ticket for a trip or 2 to the SEC tournament in Orlando.
I think it's interesting, at the beginning of the show, we would talk about Singleton and Duval and the importance of their being in the lineup, and all of a sudden Duval's got 2 big shots. Singleton has 2 steals and a free throw to kind of stem the tide for LSU. On the other hand, as I look at this, LSU is a young team that has to play with a lot of emotion, so the crowd becomes more important than it does with a senior team that goes about their business with a little bit higher level of maturity.
And as Auburn cut the lead to 6, as you heard, the crowd really got into it. And LSU now has pumped it back out to 11. Knocked out of bounds by Duval. Auburn gets it back. Auburn has been outscored in the paint 32-12 by LSU tonight.
Auburn is in an offensive 1-4 set, which has brought the big guys up into the high post, out of the low post, so that they can get movement to the basket. This takes away that low post shot blocking ability that LSU has. Good play by Chris Jackson.
Brandt fighting for the ball, lost it out of bounds. It'll go to LSU.
Chris Jackson has done this all night long and come within a hair. As his man goes away, Chris Jackson, instead of going with his man, fakes like he's going to go with him and pops back out looking for the ball. He's missed it on 2 other occasions, but shakes it loose there.
Jackson, with only 9 points, hasn't scored in the second half. He has not failed to score in double figures all 53 of his college games. Derek Dennison with his 3rd foul. And Randy Duval at the line, where he's a 60% shooter. Duval had 11 assists in that game against Loyola Marymount last Saturday. He's the #1 assist man on this team. Missed the free throw, but Singleton with an offensive board. LSU with the ball, up 11. No basket, a foul before the shot. Is that a shot? You call that a shot?
Well, I don't know what that is. I tell you what, you can't afford to be underneath that net when those big guys are going to the basket, or you're going to have a headache the way that thing's coming through.
Chris Brandt, #4. This is a game Brandt would just as soon forget. He's been pounded inside there. Roberts can't hit it. Duval, though, saves it right back to Roberts, who spins and scores. Let's see what they call. It will be good, and then a foul on Roberts.
Great spin move by Roberts, but he was out of control. I thought for a minute they were going to wave the basket off, but Auburn gets to shoot the 1-and-1.
3 fouls on Roberts. That is his 15th point. Well, Dale Brown has shed his coat. He had a team meeting after that loss to Georgia at midnight with some of his key players, and they got a few things ironed out, and they haven't lost a game since the meeting.
I think this may sound strange, but I don't really think they've found a leader. You know, Ricky Blanton was such a great leader, and Chris Jackson has that potential, but in a different way. They haven't found the holler guy or the guy that can grab the bull by the horns, and that's part of the chemistry here that they're lacking, if there is one at this point.
2 free throws by Kaler, answered the bucket by Roberts, and then Duvall with a baseline jumper. Boy, they have so many weapons, don't they?
Oh, he just played so well, and Singleton has given him an unbelievable lift, both off the boards and defensively.
LSU equals its biggest lead. Dennison's shot partially blocked. Out of bounds to Auburn. Well, we were talking about Dale Brown. He wanted us to say hello to a young man, Sean Jones, that was struck by a car on his way to the Mississippi State game here on Monday and is in the Our Lady of the Lake Hospital here in Baton Rouge. And as soon as the game's over and Dale finishes his press conference, he's going over to the hospital to see Sean.
Well, in talking with Dale Brown yesterday, I find him to be probably as relaxed and comfortable as I've seen him since I've known him in coaching.
Kaler faked the defense away and then hit a 15-footer. Nice move.
7-footers will do that to you, though. Especially ones with ability.
Stanley Roberts with 4 block shots tonight. O'Neal's had a bunch of them, too. And Duvall lately has carried the offense. There he draws the foul. Kaler has number 5.
Not sure that I understand that either, because he's got Derek Dennison, who's probably Auburn's best defensive player on him, one of the better defensive players in the league, and Duvall just seems to own him. And Tommy Joe's taken out. Dennison's probably going to talk to him, but that surprises me, the success Duvall's had here.
Patrick replaces Derek Dennison. Derek started quickly tonight, scored 9 points early, hasn't scored since. He's gone about 15 minutes plus without a bucket.
He's more of a transition player, and this game's kind of gotten bogged down with Auburn in their half-court game, and he hasn't able to use his creativity as much as he is in the open floor.
In fact, he's probably gone longer than 15 minutes. He may have gone 25, Derek Dennison. It's been a long time since he scored. 65-52 as LSU begins to pull away. John Kaler muscling inside, draws a crowd of gold jerseys. Battle tried to get it back to Kaler, and then they say no, it was tipped by LSU.
Yeah, I think it was.
Dale Brown doesn't think so, but he's a good deal away from it. It was down onto the other basket.
I just have a feeling he didn't see it quite as well as the guy 2 feet from it did.
Nice pass. Kaler wide open. 13 points for John Kaler. Battle leads the Auburn attack with 22, but only 4 in the second half. Williamson wide open for the tray. No. Duvall, offensive board, out jumped Kaler, then worked it inside. Scramble for it. Who hit it last? Brandt. It'll go to the Tigers of LSU.
I just sense that Auburn's tired. Brandt and Kaler just had to strap on those big guys all night long. They're not reacting to the loose ball. I just think they're tired, and that's natural. You got a guy 280 leaning on you all night, you're going to get tired.
Chris Jackson, 9 points. His career low was 11, set earlier this year against Alabama. That shot no good. Here comes Auburn. Gallen all the way to the hoop. Oh, pretty move.
Yes, great play. Caught the big guy by surprise.
Well, an interesting battle of quickness against size.
Well, I think he surprises him. I just don't think they think he's going to take it to the hole. And Singleton reaches and then's not able to react.
Reggie Gallen, though, has struggled at the free throw line where he's pitching a shutout.
Gets you back in a hurry, though, that three-point play, whether it's a field goal or a three-point play on the drive.
Well, let's see if Auburn can mount one last charge. They trail 65-57, just over 4.5 minutes left. Duvall's been the killer. That one won't go, and Singleton over the back with his 4th foul.
Good call. LSU's done a really, really nice job handling Auburn's pressure and staying away from traps, but they've just in some instances not been able to complete the play. And that was an example there.
Well, once again, we point out as Shaquille O'Neal returns that Auburn is going to have to hit the free throws to have a chance. Roberts is on the bench as O'Neal comes back. Here's John Kaler, 2 for 2 at the line, the former East Tennessee Player of the Year. He's a native of Talbot, Tennessee. Missed last season with a blood clot in his right shoulder, but had been a starter back in his sophomore season. He had 11 games in double figures then, and before the medical red shirt kept him on the sidelines last year. He's hit 5 of 6 from the field, too. The 2 free throws make it, once again, a 6-point game. Auburn just won't go away.
No, and they aren't going to. And if it wouldn't have been for a deflected pass, they would have had that one.
Singleton couldn't get it through. O'Neal can't follow. Finally, there's going to be a foul reaching in. It's Chris Brandt or John Kaler, one of the two.
Tell you what has impressed me is both with O'Neal and Roberts, both have great, not only they have good athletic ability, they both have nice hands, soft hands. They come up with loose balls. They don't fumble the ball. And that's just something that a big guy has to have if he's going to be a dominant player. These two are both going to be dominant players.
Chris Brandt assessed his 4th foul. O'Neal hits the free throw. He had been struggling there, but he gets that one through. And that breaks a 7-0 Auburn run. Shaquille O'Neal with 13 points and 8 rebounds tonight. Line drive shot no good, and Brandt tips it to himself, and Auburn comes up court facing a 7-point deficit. Gallen directs traffic, gets a screen, high pick from Brandt.
We're going to get a
battle for 3. Won't go. O'Neal, strong rebound, his 9th. Singleton.
He's been good for him tonight. Battle that three-pointer. They get him set up with that thing again. He's going to knock it down. He's getting that wide open shot.
Inside, flips it back out. Brandt was in no position to catch it. Knocked away from O'Neal. Then Singleton is fouled by Kaler. That could be an intentional foul.
No, I think he was playing the ball. He just didn't see Singleton until he went up for it, and then he ran over him.
Obviously having some audio problems. We apologize. Fouls on John Kaler, and that's his 6th foul.
That's his 6th.
So John Kaler fouls out of the game, having scored 15 points in a reserve role for Auburn tonight.
That's a tough loss for him, but Zane Arnold, who has played so well in the conference, is going to be in. And Zane Arnold is actually a little bit quicker. Gives him that experience, though, that knowledge, that how to play and what to do and when to do it. But Zane Arnold is a very, very good athlete, and I'm sure he'll pick up the slack.
Kaler exits at the 3:24 mark. Arnold, who replaced him, has scored only 3 points, does not have a field goal.
I wouldn't be surprised we see LSU starting to use a little bit of clock.
LSU has hit now 3 of 5 on the front end of the 1+1s. You remember against Georgia in that overtime loss, they missed 10 1-and-1s in a row. Singleton has been perfect at the free throw line tonight. He's 6 for 6. He has 10 points. The lead is 11. Patrick for 3. Rimmed out. O'Neal can't handle it, but Jackson can. Oh, Gallen just sneaked right in there to knock it away, but also knocked it out of bounds.
Yeah, they're just, I'm sure they're a little bit leg weary because in both instances the ball just didn't get there for both Patrick and for Battle, but they're getting the wide open three-pointer. They're making it a little bit longer than they have to, though.
Duval just lost the handle. Here's Gallen against Jackson. Pulls up. Too hard. Singleton out-scraps Auburn for it, and here's C.J. Jackson dishes to O'Neal, who lays it in, and a foul on Brandt.
You know, just Jackson comes in, winds it and dines it, looks one way. Brandt really doesn't get established. He slides. O'Neal's already into his shooting motion. I'm sure they're going to get a timeout. Eagles are going to get a timeout and talk it over and set up their strategy for the last 2.5 minutes of the game.
So timeout taken with 2:47 left in the game. LSU leading 72-59. We'll be back after a word from your local SEC station. Tom Hammond, Bob Weltlich at the Maravich Assembly Center. 2:47 left in the Southeastern Conference game. LSU leading Auburn 72-59. One of the stories of the game has been the play of Chris Jackson, who is 3 of 13 shooting and has only 9 points, none in the second half. He has never failed to score in double figures in his LSU career, which spans 53 games. O'Neal short on that free throw, and Gallen has it.
Got him open.
Out of bounds to Auburn.
Had him open, saw him late. Singleton makes a great recovery. I'll tell you, can't say enough about what he and Duvall have done for him off the bench.
Battle fires a quick one and bottoms it out. A three-point shot by Ronnie Battle.
Gracious, what a shot.
25 points for Battle. Duvall threads his way through traffic, dishes to Williamson. Brandt with a good block. Battle chases it down in front court. Now over to Gallen. Brandt has it knocked away by Duvall, but it comes right back to Battle. His shot no good. Let's see if that's a three-point attempt. Will he get 3 free throws? He was fouled. I don't think he was behind the line.
No, I think he was inside. One thing that's been interesting the last couple of times against pressure, Duvall has found himself bringing the ball up, which I really have a little bit of a problem with when you've got Jackson and Williamson in the game. I'm sure Dale's thinking about running clock. He needs to get the ball in the hands of the shooters, specifically Jackson, who's shooting 90% from free throw line.
Battle misses a key free throw. He'll have one more. Battle has been in double figures 19 of 21 games now. Had 27 against Georgia State and working on point number 26 right here. And he got it.
3 threes, and they're in it.
72-63. Auburn still within striking distance, but time running out.
Oh.
Patrick almost had a steal.
There you go.
Williamson lobs it for O'Neal, slams it through.
I tell you, there can be no more lonely place in the world than when you're the last guy against their offensive thrust and you know that O'Neal or Roberts is behind you. And that's what Chris Brandt was looking at that last time.
The last line of defense, and he knew that the tanks and artillery were coming his way.
I mean, you're out there with a BB gun.
Patrick with a nice little bank shot over O'Neal. First points of the game for Larry Patrick. Williamson, beautiful pass. Singleton lays it in, and Brandt is just fouled out.
Well, this is just good offense. Takes the ball at him. He gets the guy to commit, brings it through. Brandt had gotten preoccupied with O'Neal because he had experienced the lob the last time and cheated to that side. Williamson identified the overplay and dished it to the backside. But Singleton makes a good play to get it in the hole.
Brandt fouls out, as you saw, with only 3 points after scoring a career-high 28 Saturday against Tennessee. He was completely neutralized by the big guys inside.
This is really a big game for LSU, not because it just keeps them in first place, but they have 3 now on the road at Tennessee, at Kentucky, and at Vanderbilt. And you want to make sure that you go out there with some confidence and on a roll, which there are. If they win this game, hold on, it'll be their 6th win. And that gives them some momentum going on the road because they've got 3 tough ones coming up.
Singleton has been just about perfect tonight. 3 for 3 from the floor, 6 for 6 at the free throw line, and also 6 rebounds. Well, I did it to him, didn't I? Not to worry. O'Neal is there. O'Neal now with 19 points. He's also in double figures on rebounds. He has 11. Out of bounds and back to Auburn. Boy, picking our Gulf MVP for LSU is going to be tough. O'Neal with another double-double, his 14th of the season. Roberts has played well. Singleton, Duvall, everybody but the man you'd expect, Jackson.
Yes, and he struggled last game as well.
Battle on the follow hits his 27th and 28th points. And that's a career high for freshman Ronnie Battle, 28 points. Well, it just punched the ticket of Mo Williamson, who took it all the way for the jam.
Well, that's once again that lonely spot back there, and O'Neal's yelling for a lob, and the guy backs up, and Williamson takes it the whole way.
58 seconds left as Battle's three-point attempt goes over the backboard and out of bounds. Tommy Joe Eagles, one thing about this young club of his, only Derek Dennison, a senior, they've improved almost every outing.
Well, not only that, but they recruited well early. They've got 4 new guys coming in, 3 of them 6'8" or better.
Whoa. It's showtime now as Williamson penetrates and dishes it to Singleton.
Well, Auburn has nothing else that they can do. They've got to play to win the game. Final score is immaterial. You play to win.
There's Gallen with a three-point shot. That's his 10th point.
So they're gambling and reaching, and I tell you, they are a tired bunch.
Chris Jackson is going to be held under double figures for the first time in his LSU career. This will be a career-low 9 points for Jackson, who failed to score in the second half.
Somehow I have a feeling that he's going to sneak in a basket here before the end. I think he's going to break all. He's going to stay with it. I just have a feeling that he's going to toss one in.
Singleton gets a good hand as he goes to the bench. Singleton, one of the Gulf MVP candidates for this LSU team. Jackson with a deflection. Duvall takes it all the way and missed it. Auburn has it back. Battle will go to the hoop. O'Neal sent it about 40 feet, but the foul that occurred prior to that with 10 seconds left.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, they're all kind of O'Neal's in there kind of chuckling, and even Battle had to kind of laugh. He said, you know, in the heat of battle, he said, I must have lost my mind going in there.
I wonder if O'Neal has another triple tonight with points, rebounds, and block shots. He has only 3 blocks tonight, so he doesn't have another triple, but he's in double figures, both points and rebounds.
I'm still betting on Jackson to get the last basket.
Well, he's got 10 seconds left. He scored only 9 points in his entire LSU career, which is what, 54 games counting tonight. He has scored in double digits.
I like Singleton as our MVP. I don't know. Maybe you might disagree with me. Here
Jackson,
it is.
1 second left.
Oh!
It won't go. Well, LSU struggled at times, but they managed to finally put Auburn away. A scrappy bunch of Auburn Tigers. Final score, LSU 82, Auburn 71. LSU maintains a share of first place in the Southeastern Conference race with its 8th SEC victory of the season. We'll be back for